Dave, how did you come about the 25 men that you chose for that roster, particularly May over Gonsolin and leaving Ferguson off as well?
Those are tougher decisions. I think with Ferguson having Rich available starting game 4, having 2 other left-handers was kind of the driving force behind that one. And Gonsolin, again, he's a guy that gets lefties and righties out. He's been built up for a couple 2-3 innings, but to have May, who has really been lights out on the baseball, really dominant, and I think that just the stuff against certain hitters in their lineup, I think match up better. And you know, with Ross Stripling being on the roster, to have Tony is a little bit redundant.
Down in front, Jim. Get the mic.
That's good, Rich. You go into postseason play. What is your biggest concern about your team right now? Because you've had things wrapped up for a while.
I really don't, you know, obviously you don't know until you play the games how you're going to play. I think all you can kind of manage is the preparation, the mindset, which we're in a good place on both fronts. Jim, you just got to go out there and play. So I'm not worried about the pitching, the at-bats that we're going to take, the quality. I know we're prepared. Those guys are still going to try to get outs and get hits off our guys. As far as catching the baseball, I think we've done that well after a little, slump in the middle of the season. So I think that we're in a good spot in health. JT, I'm assured that he's in a good place. Richie's going to throw a bullpen here, so we're good there. So I think on the health side, so we're pretty excited.
On the left end.
Dave, when did you come to the decision to start Clayton in game 2 and Reed game 3?
It was a few days ago, and it was more under the, just appreciating what Clayton has done out of the pen, and you're talking about game 5. And so where you could potentially put all 3 of those guys in a hat and roll out your 1, 2, and 3 starters. But now when you dig a little bit deeper and understanding that Clayton has done it, he's done well, you've got to prepare for a game 5 if it does happen. So what best prepares you for that? And that's Clayton pitching game 2 and Walker having the opportunity to pitch twice in this series. We just felt very good in that sense.
Back right, Jared.
Hey Dave, you guys obviously have a couple very young players on your roster, 22, 23. Why do you think there's such a willingness to trust such young guys around baseball in those spots? And how does that compare maybe to when you were playing, how managers view 21, 22-year-old players?
When I was playing, there weren't too many of those. I think that nowadays, and I think that you can look back on, even the last, 8, 10 years of postseason, there's been a lot of young players that have come up and performed really well. And you look back at our 3 years, Seager was one of those young players. Bellinger was one of those young players. Urias, one of those young players. And then now you're kind of supplementing those guys with some other guys, some young new faces in May and Smith and Gavin Lux. So I think that still the majority of the guys have a lot of experience, albeit some of these guys are still young. We just believe in those guys, and I think that just the industry around baseball. You saw last night, you get young guys coming out and making an impact, and you just know your players, and you just believe in the talent, the stuff, and the guys that we have on our roster are very talented.
JP.
Yeah, Dave, if Rich is throwing a bullpen today, do you still plan on having him available out of the bullpen today or tomorrow?
Today, no. Yeah, we're gonna get Rich in there, and there was talk, JP, but obviously him throwing a bullpen today won't be available tonight, and it's going to be a smaller session. So tomorrow possibly, but yeah, tonight, no.
Back to the line on the left.
What did those 4 rookies in particular do to prove that they were ready for this moment, as far as Smith and Lux and Beatty and May?
I think that starting with Beatty, I think that his ability, we've started him, he's got a lot of big hits for us coming off the bench. I think he's taken a lot of good at-bats. His ability to conduct a quality at-bat when you're talking about velocity stuff in the postseason, I think that that's a good bet. As far as Gavin, didn't know a whole lot about him. Obviously, he was our minor league player of the year, had a tremendous season, and for me, just seeing the way he moves, he's in tune, in the box, defensively. He really can catch the baseball. So that's something that really excited me, because you can trust the defense. I played a lot of shortstop, but the way he can turn a double play and make plays, the ball goes into his glove. And then the at-bat quality. I think that, yeah, the numbers, might not be over the top, but I think when you look at him in the batter's box, he does a good job at swinging at strikes and taking balls. So that's something with Gavin. With Will, I like the guy a lot. I like the head. I like the compete, the acumen, the baseball acumen, and he's tough. And I joke a lot. The baby face, don't let that fool you, because this guy is as tough as they come. He's a college kid. He's groomed. He's intelligent, and so I think that so that's an easy one. And I think that him and Russell are going to work really well together. And the pitchers are really understanding, trusting Will, and so that's been really good to see that growth. And with Dustin, it's I know that Booney used the term savage, but he's a savage, man. He's 6'5", 6'6", and there's elbows, and it's a big leg kick, and it's 97 coming at you downhill with a cutter in there, and there's a big head of hair that you're kind of trying to find the release point. So I just like him, and he's very confident.
Back there in the middle.
Following up on those questions about the young guys, how much has the clubhouse environment helped, and the fact that you've got veterans that basically embrace these guys, and there isn't any having to earn your way and all that? They have embraced them right away.
It's a credit to the coaches and the players, and I guess it's the whole mindset. If you can't beat them, join them, and that's where David Freese and Clayton and Kenley and JT, because there's so many young players around, so you got to kind of conform, and you got to understand the way they think and what makes them tick, and that's for me as well. So the young players aren't going away. They're very talented, in my opinion, more talent than we've ever seen in baseball. And so now the question is how do you get the most out of these players on your particular ball club? And our guys have done a great job of that.